From the Morning Star, published 2006. Admiral launches into paranoid rant by Ramel Krush or something. Left-wing MPs condemned the racist ravings of one of Britain's most senior military strategists yesterday, after he claimed that Western civilization was threatened by hordes of foreign immigrants. Yesterday's papers revealed that Rear Admiral Chris Parry has claimed that future migrations will be comparable to the barbarian invasions which he mistakenly believed to have destroyed the Roman Empire. Admiral Parry, who is head of the Development Concepts and Doctrines Centre at the Ministry of Defence, offered military top brass and arms industry bosses a rabid view of future security threats at a conference last week. He claimed that future migrations would be comparable to the movements of the Goths and Vandals, going on to declare the North African Barbary pirates could be attacking yachts and beaches in the Mediterranean within 10 years. Admiral Parry told the gathering that Britain and other European countries could be brought low by large numbers of immigrant groups with little allegiance to their host nations, which he described as reverse colonisation. He went on to project ever more militarisation in face of this threat with the development of war robots, drones, nanotechnology, lasers, microwave weapons, space-based systems, and even customised nuclear and neutron bombs. Respect MP George Galloway said, "I hear the flapping of white coats coming to take the Admiral away. These are paranoid ravings. But more seriously, it's sinister that we're currently led by, and the government's top echelons are staffed by, such sinister individuals." Labour MP Jeremy Corbyn expressed similar shock that such an apocalyptic worldview would be given any credence at the top levels of the military. At one level, this man is completely barking. He's clearly read little of the real history of the Roman Empire, which collapsed through its own internal problems. But at another level, this exposes a deeply sinister and racist view of the planet, which can only intensify global conflict and lead to more racism at home. I can only assume Admiral Parry picked up this nonsense at some George Bush think tank. And National Assembly Against Racism coordinator Dennis, what was his name? Fernando? Strange name. Added to the chorus of disapproval, warning such hysterical polemics attempt to reinforce the legacy of empire by making black people synonymous with crime and savagery, said National Assembly Against Racism coordinator Dennis Fernando. They will incite racism in wider society and therefore should be condemned and rejected out of hand. We need a wall. We need a moat.
They preach reform but bite their tongue. Promise the moon but the same old song. Toadies and lice don't float my name. We need some moat to drown the shame. Branded far out, still holding tight. They dim the truth but burn a light. Crooked grins on a fancy coat. We need some moat to rock the boat. We need some moat, a wall, a chain to keep the lies from the pouring rain. Way in deep where the waters grow. Flush out the rock, let the river flow. A mask of change, a hollow sound. close and whisper sweet. Sink their boots, let them feel defeat. The struggle aches, the stories wrote. Hammer the iron to build our moat. We need to mow a trench, a line, to show that gold ain't worth the time. Watch them down where the currents tow. Drown the old, let the new seeds grow. We need to mow a wall, a chain, to keep the lights from the pouring rain. We need to mow a wall, a chain, to keep the lights from the pouring rain. Wade in deep where the waters grow. Flush out the rot, let the river flow. Let the river flow. Lure them close and whisper sweet. Sink their boots, let them feel defeat. The struggle aches, the stories wrote. Hammer the iron to build our moat.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have a response to Iran?
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
I think we have to join the others.
It's Friday night and we're all in!
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Mad, mental, just plain lucky. Who knows? It's John and Ed, and it's N. Hello, Ed. You're muted, my good man.
Sorry, hello, how are you?
I'm good.
I was just adjusting my camera for the vertical stream.
Like,
Because it's bloody thing's chopping my freaking head off or something. I don't know. Fucking vertical stream.
It doesn't look like that here. I don't understand.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But anyway,
It's fine.
if I'm chopping off Ed's head,
No, it's not you. It's me. It's just where I'm positioned.
Oh, right.
It's just where I'm sitting. Anyway,
Right.
the chat's more fun in the horizontal stream anyway. So
Yes, it is. But don't let that put me off you if you wish to watch the vertical stream, because 7,800 people did last week, and for that we've got to be grateful. Thank you.
we had a really good week last week. That was. I mean, we're like a teeny tiny little channel, but I don't particularly want to be a big channel.
Well,
I know you
yeah,
do, but
well, I just want to be able to make a crust out of this, and the people that we have that turn up every week on the horizontal stream. I love you. You know I love you. Shalini, Nectaridis, Dave, Frankie, Emma, Johnny and John, Beats and Tapes, Ray. Yeah, even you, Ray. I do love you. David Nolan. I missed David this week as well because I had to reschedule the movie reviews, and I do love our chats that we have on a Tuesday night. Paul Armstrong. Who else we got? Oh, it's getting long. This is getting long. I like this. It's getting long. Digi I don't want to miss anyone out now, or I'm going to get called out. I'm a Nectaridis. I think I've already said that. There you go. That's where I am at the moment. And obviously DW76 on the vertical chat, or now on the horizontal. There you go. Well done, man. But you watch on the stream that suits you. We're just here to give you the absolute nonsense that is the world this week.
and yeah, just try and pick out. I spend the week bookmarking. Trying to bookmark the funniest. There's obviously some serious stuff too, but I look out for the funnies as well, because you have to laugh at the world. I can't.
Oh yeah,
it's just getting more. I mean, 2025 so far has been one of the most mental years that I've experienced since I was born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. Right, okay. I had the speakers on. I hope nobody was getting an echo. I don't think you were though.
No, I didn't hear any echo.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Don't know
I
about
can
the
maybe
audience,
actually work without headphones then. Right. Let's move on to the slides, shall we? Let's get this going. Right. I don't know. I don't know if the man's a fucking genius or if he's a lucky retard. I mean, I really don't know.
I've heard all sorts. I mean, I've heard all sorts of different explanations as to what Trump is up to. Some people are just saying he's a complete retard who doesn't know what he's doing. Some people will just follow him no matter what he does. and others are completely convinced that he's playing this really complicated game of 5D chess, and he's basically trying to take out the global British imperial order, or what's left of it, the crypto empire.
Right.
I don't
Let's
know.
break it down. What happened this week that we thought was going to bring us into nuclear war? One, Trump decides he is going to go into Iran and he's going to bomb them, and he's made it out like, you know, Top Gun Maverick 2. You know, the drop a. It's like Star Wars all over again. Drop a bomb down this little hole. You know, a bunker buster. But regardless of that, we all pretty much know that there was no enriched uranium in there anyway, because it'd all been moved. Maybe he got centrifuges, maybe he didn't, but he certainly didn't get the enriched uranium. But apart from that, it is all a bit of theatre, isn't it? Because he went over and dropped all those bombs and didn't really militarily achieve nothing, yeah?
The thing is, if you look at the satellite footage, sort of in the days leading up to the attack on Iran,
yeah,
there was lines of trucks shipping all of this stuff out to God knows where. And then in the days leading up to the Iranian retaliation on America, all of the planes were leaving Al Udeid Air Base and all these other air bases, and they just kind of moved them. And then the attack happened, and it was just like there was definitely an element of theatre to it.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, he was obviously getting a lot of pressure from Congress and from the lobbies, you know, to come in.
Lobby, it's the people.
Yeah, to come in on the side of Netanyahu. Effectively, he kind of has done that, but in probably the lightest touch possible. I know that sounds crazy.
Well,
but
I can't remember which analyst it was, but one of the ones that I listened to was basically saying that it seems like it's a way for him to go back to his donors and say, okay, you wanted me to do this, I've done it.
Yeah.
What else do you want? And for him to somehow maybe free himself from their influence a little bit. It's like, because one of the things that the donors wanted was for Rubio to be vice president, and so Trump made him Secretary of State and then completely sidelined him with Witkoff.
Yeah.
So you have to. I mean, you have to think about the pressures that he's under in terms of the lobby and in terms of his donors, and also in terms of obviously the deep state and the military industrial complex and all of these people. But yeah, I don't know, because it's the same with the Iranian attack on the air bases. I mean, they'd clearly communicated it in advance.
We've got slides about that as well.
Yeah, no, that's
just crazy.
It's just bonkers. And then, I mean, you don't quite know what to make of it. This is the thing that I've been ever since the initial attack that the Americans did on Iran. I was thinking that was going to kick off something bigger, and it kind of didn't. And then the Iranians did their retaliation, and I thought that might be a bit bigger than it was, and it wasn't.
Although it did, it did pretty much hit Israel where they haven't really ever been hit before.
Well, this is why the Israelis were asking for a ceasefire.
Yeah,
because I think that they realised, apart from anything else, they're running out of missiles, and the missiles that they have got, based on some of the videos I've seen, are not doing what it says on the tin. You're supposed to get the radar, press a button, and the thing is supposed to shoot stuff out of the sky. And they've shot some stuff out of the sky, but there's been plenty of footage of hypersonic impacts, and you can tell the hypersonic ones because they are moving like a bat out of hell, or a bat out of hell that's encased in plasma.
Yeah. So let's shall we move on to the slide?
Yeah, no, let's.
Right. So I've got a stack of slides here, actually, maybe as many as 10, which feature this hat, which would be great. And somebody's made it with AI, which is fine if you'd spelt it right. We're not all Philistines, you know.
I just
That just
I mean,
sums
even look,
sums the internet up in one fell swoop, does it not?
I'm sorry, world, but if we can't do they, there, and if we can't do those variations, even though we've got AI to help us with the spelling, and AI, I mean, people might not know the difference between THEIR and THEY''RE, but the AI does. So for crying out loud, just up your game, seriously.
I'm just going to address the chat briefly. Johnny and John has obviously picked something up wrong that I said. If they haven't been hit before, what was Saddam doing, and how did the Israelis knock out the reactor 20 years ago? Right. I'd never said anything about Iran getting hit. What I said was that Israel hasn't been hit like they have before, and Saddam never hit Israel with any real form, you know, with these scuds.
Well, they had some scuds. I mean,
Yeah,
and the thing
that
about the
was
Patriots,
nothing.
but that's where the Patriot missiles got their reputation, because they were supposed to be able to shoot Iraqi scuds out of the sky.
Yeah, but let's face it,
Which
you
is the
could
very
shoot.
first time I heard about a Patriot missile.
You could shoot Iraqi scuds out of the sky with a 2-2. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that there are Ukrainian babushkas out there that could probably take out
Yeah.
a Scud missile with a can of tomatoes.
Yeah. Right. Tulsi Gabbard. So Tulsi Gabbard went to Congress in March and said that the combined weight of US intelligence, oxymoron or not, the combined weight of US intelligence was that Iran was not and had not been working on a nuclear weapon. And that, to be fair, has been the US intelligence position for decades, I would say.
Mm.
Yeah.
At least
Right.
30 years.
Yeah, so she stood up in Congress and said this. And Trump said he didn't care what she said. He didn't believe her. You know, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? And then Tulsi turns around and says, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon within. No, it fucking couldn't, Tulsi, because you're just being pressured to say that and to allow yourself to be compromised to that extent. Yeah, I couldn't have done that. I'd have had to have walked away. I could not have done that.
Well, I don't know if we've got a slide for it. But there was
she's
that
sitting there in
announcement
front of you.
this week
Oh,
from
right.
Robert
sorry.
Kennedy Jr. about wanting the whole world to have wearables. The point that I'm trying to make is that there were certain people. I mean, with Trump, I never really, I didn't have high expectations of him. But RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, I kind of had not high expectations, but I had a few expectations, and they've just, I don't know what they're doing, whether it's just they've got some sort of long-term plan, or they just figure they're better in that job than having some other nutter do it. Or they have to compromise. I mean, ultimately, politics is compromise, but sometimes you think people compromise too much.
Well, they do, and thank you, John, for acknowledging that. John, that is. Hi, Emma. Nice to see you. Espresso Mechanic joined the scene as well. Right, shall we move on to the next slide, Mr. Ed?
Yeah, man.
Here we have, is one of yours, Ursula von der Leyen. Yeah.
Iran must never acquire the bomb. Have you noticed how they're all saying that?
Oh,
it's like even Lammy posted something about having spoken to the Iranians.
Even Rishi Sunak made a tweet.
Iran must never have a nuclear. It's like, I'm sorry, do you people? I mean, it's just like
it's a script. It's an issued script.
As soon as these wombats all start saying slight variations of the same thing. Anyway, right. So, with tensions in the Middle East at new peak, stability must be the priority. Yeah. So let's just make everything more unstable by being dickheads. And respect for international law is critical. I'm sorry. When has the United States and the West ever respected international law? Now is the moment for Iran to engage in a credible diplomatic solution. They were at the fucking negotiating table when the bomb started dropping.
Yeah, I know.
The negotiating table is the only place to end. You blew it up. You literally blew up the negotiating table. And then they're like, Iran has got to get back to the negotiating table. It's like, okay, number one, Why the hell would the Iranians ever trust anything the West ever says ever again? Number two, they were at the negotiating table. The negotiations were used as a ruse to prepare the attack. And it's hypocrisy to the point that you can't even believe that they... Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't actually believe that they've even got the audacity to spout this nonsense. I mean, do they not know we're actually paying attention?
Yeah, we covered they've recovered the spelling mistake on the hat at the beginning of this segment because there's about 10 of these slides. So please don't point it out on everyone because it's the same fucking hat. It wasn't made by me. I would have got the spelling right anyway. What's that? David's message has been hidden. I don't know why. That's strange. Anyway, it's come up now. Right, where was I?
Yeah, Dave Nolan says show your messages with Albert Bull at Ursula.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right, so yeah, this whole thing's a script though, because they're all coming out. It's like when American TV does their news segment and they all have that one segment. It's identical across every channel and every region. That's exactly what's going on here. Somebody's planting these, and it's like, who the fuck is doing it? It's got to, when I used to think there isn't there isn't dark people working as puppet masters in the background, but I think there might be. I think there really, really might be. Anyway, right, move on.
I mean, these scripts come from somewhere.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is that, and I mean, if you look at the caliber and intelligence of people like Ursula and Starmer and Lamy and all of these people and Macron, they're all idiots. Literally, I mean,
I know they are.
They're just. They look at that NATO summit. And there's hardly any brain cells to rub together.
I know. Even Maloney's an idiot. I mean, she's probably more aligned to where we'd rather be, but she's still an idiot. Hirohito here, the real Hirohito. This is more or less what Trump said, yeah. And it's just a nonsense, isn't it? It's just a complete wank speak. His speeches are getting worse. They really are. We've completed our very successful attack on Hawaii. All planes are now outside of America airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Pearl Harbor. All planes are now safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great Japanese warrior. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
It's just, I mean,
you can't do it without lapsing into the Japanese bad accent. You just can't.
But this is why I love Twitter.
Yeah.
It's literally this. Because if you look at, when you look at all the other social media places, an awful lot of the really fun stuff is actually people screenshotting things that are on Twitter or X. And this just illustrates that beautifully.
Oh, I was a big Alanis Morissette fan as well. I thought she was brilliant. Right, okay, moving on.
John, no, not you, the other one. Journeying John, leave him alone. He's a Scotsman. They're not supposed to be able to do accents.
It wasn't meant to be Chinese, it was Japanese. Trump says ceasefire between Israel and Iran now in effect, right? And that's, I don't know who the fuck David Wilson 34 is, but he says if this is true, then it's got nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with Scottish patriots like Tommy Sheridan. I've arrested that man. And Hamza Yousaf. Well, I haven't arrested him, but I've parodied him, who have been staunch in their criticism of Israel. It just shows the influence an independent Scotland would have in the world. Fuck off, you complete and utter knob.
They're just delusional. I mean, it's the same. I mean, look, we need to kind of respect our own limitations sometimes. And I mean, yes, like England and Scotland, and even to some extent Wales, has given the world some great things, but we're not significant countries. And you know what? That's absolutely fine. There's completely nothing wrong with just being a regular country, wanting to look after your own people. Just do your thing, make friends with people, don't make enemies with people. And but we have to pretend that we're more than we are for some reason. It's a big ego thing.
I know. Right. Well, do you know what Scotland's national animal is? I never knew this until this evening, believe it or not. I mean, I never knew it. You know what our national animal is? Scotland's.
No.
Any guesses? Any guesses out there? Scotland's, without looking at it on Google, anybody off the top of your head, you tell me what Scotland's national animal is?
Nessie?
No.
I thought it was the Loch Ness Monster.
No, it's not the Loch Ness Monster. It's not a haggis either. It's a fucking unicorn. And I think that just sums up Scotland. Does it not? It's a fucking unicorn. You're right, John.
Yeah.
John's right.
Pretty much.
That's exactly what it is. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. England's is a lion. Scotland's is a unicorn. And the only reason I know that is because I was watching something about MI6. And they've got the shield with a lion and a unicorn in it. Yes, Shalini, that is serious. It has been Scotland's national animal since the 1500s, when we used to kill them and use their horns to stab Englishmen. Anyway, carrying on. Now, this is what I thought was going to happen last week, and I still think I wasn't far off the mark, right?
Well, I think it actually, I think they planned it. Because based on what we're saying is that Israel is planning to carry out a false flag operation in the US on the pretext of Iranian sleeper cells to drag the US into an all-out war with Iran. But Iranian intelligence foiled the plot and informed the US before it could happen. Now, I realize it's come from the Tehran Times, but I absolutely believe it because the Iranians, they had that big hack of, they managed to get their hands on large amounts of secret Israeli material.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say it, but something like that would have form. Put it that way.
Yeah, it would.
Right.
It
may still happen.
Yeah, Frankie, I don't. I probably will. I haven't watched it yet, though. I saw your comment, and I did say I would put it on my list. But so many movies, so little time. But if you want me to do it, drop me a little something, just anything, and I'll do it for you. That's what I'll do. How does that sound? You know?
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
And remember, this is an ad-free stream on the horizontal. If you want to keep it that way, somebody's got to drop something today. They've got to drop something, and I don't mean your panties. I mean cash. Cold, hard cash. Right. Anyway, moving on. That's exactly what happened, isn't it? When we're talking about the bombings.
Yes, I love this one. Tomorrow I will strike this target. Be careful. I will retaliate a strike at your base. Don't forget to evacuate. But this is just, I mean, this is a civilized and gentlemanly way of waging war, if you ask me.
It's theatre, mate, and it's really...
Well, especially if you want to, I mean, the good thing, when you think about it, it's great because at least these people are, I mean, unlike our own dear leader, at least they're not trying to actively start World War III. I mean, if it was down to the British government, the bloody nukes would have been flying already.
Oh, God. I don't know what Britain's thinking. I really... Yeah, okay, let's move on.
I'm sorry,
Iran.
Our foreign secretary is David Lammy, and you're using the word thinking?
Yeah, okay. Iran made very big mistake.
He's spent 1.3 million on private air travel in the last 3 months or something.
Yeah. Iran made a very big mistake. Did they elect you as president too?
There's been some genius stuff out there today.
Let's just take
this week, rather.
Let's just take this for a second and think, what would Kamala have done?
To be honest, I don't think
it
would have worked out that much different. Well, no, but Brian Beletic is really good at pointing these things out because he reads a lot of the strategy documents from places like Heritage Foundation and all of these institutes that are the ones that actually craft the foreign policy. And when you look at, there was one report, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it came out in 2009. And I think it's called The Path to Persia, might have been, if memory serves. And it pretty much outlined what's happened under 4 different administrations of both Republican and Democrat. So, I mean, Kamala would be, for all of his faults, I'm still glad that Trump won, because I think Kamala somehow would have been worse.
Yeah, would have.
And I don't know how shit could get any worse, but I bet it would have been worse.
There's a PayPal me address as well. Dave, do you follow me on Twitter? Just ping me on Twitter, mate. Ping me on Twitter and I'll send you everything that I've got, which is about 3 pence. Right. Kamala would have said, "What can be unburdened by what has been." Yeah, you're right, David. She would have. Right. And I think this is the last of the hat slides. It's only number 9. That's good. Live look at McCain's grave after hearing Trump bombed Iran.
Oh dear. And that's so not far from the truth. I would be surprised if it actually happened.
Yeah. No, I did not watch Sonia Poulton today. I'm quite disappointed in Sonia because she's not had me back on ever since she said she would. But anyway, apart from that, well, we've done this. NATO chief calls Trump daddy. Yeah, done. Okay, moving on. Well, dare it jump back? Right. Starmer not told in advance if Israel striking Iran because the US and Israel don't trust them. I can believe that.
Well, pretty much no one in the country trusts him apart from you very deluded people. And he's literally, there isn't a single campaign promise that he's actually kept that I can think of off the top of my head. I wouldn't trust him at all.
No.
Absolutely not. But it is funny watching him get humiliated. It was like, I don't know if we got a slider for it with the picture of him at the NATO summit where he's not included at all.
I can't remember. There's so many slides, mate. 67 of them. And as I said, some of them are double. So I've got to keep going. Right. Many Afghan migrants collaborated with Mossad to carry out internal terrorist attacks on Iran last week, apparently. So there you go.
Well, there's not just Afghans, but
they're going to
all sorts of no, more likely hang them.
No, they said they're going to increase the rate of deportation.
Okay. Well, there's a bunch, because I know that they hung a bunch of them.
I'm drinking a rosé.
They don't. I realize when they carry out their capital punishment, it's not where you drop them through a hole in the floor and you get a nice clean break. They hoist them up with a bloody JCB or something.
Yeah,
and they kind of
right. Nearly done.
Swing around in the air. It's just, but it's amazing how much the Iranians got infiltrated. Because if you look at that initial attack that the Israelis pulled off, where they had literally, it was the same as the Ukrainian thing. The new method of
how dare
you! That deserves a double.
We got some money, but we were chosen over the Duran.
Oh, yes!
That
better than the Duran. Come on,
that's even better than the 20 quid.
Oh, thank you, Darren. Thank you, Darren. Appreciate it, mate. You are a star. Right. Moving on. UN nuclear watchdog chief has been ignored. Well, yeah. If somebody told the US where your nuclear plants were, would you not be putting them on your do not answer this guy?
And I bet he's not on the Christmas card list either. I mean, the thing about this guy is the chutzpah that it takes to completely give away a country's secrets help, because something that people don't understand, under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which Iran signed and certain other country didn't, we're not going to talk about that at the moment, but part of the agreement with the NPT is in exchange for giving up any desire to have nuclear weapons, that you are supported and allowed to have a civilian nuclear program, and that is protected, and that is completely within the law. And so actually the number of violations of that happened with the Americans bombing them, apart from anything else, bombing a nuclear facility or facility containing potential radioactive material is really stupid. But for this arrogant dickhead to actually then turn around and say, "Oh, well, you've got to let us in," it's like, no, we're not going to let you in and come and do a bomb damage assessment. No, go away.
Has Iran not pulled out of the IAEA?
Well, the Iranian parliament voted to suspend cooperation with the IAEA, so I don't think they've pulled out of the NPT or done anything kind of final like that. But they've basically just booted all of the inspectors out of the country, and it's bonkers because Iran was one of the most heavily inspected countries on the planet. The intrusive, the level of kind of access that the IAEA were given under cooperation with the Iranians, all that's gone. They've just blown all that up. So we've now got 400 kilos of 60% enriched uranium that nobody knows where the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's like, that's good. Well done.
There you go. Well done. Let's go. Let's move to our favourite other war that's ongoing at the moment, shall we? Or should I say, special military operation? Okay. NATO had a conference this week, didn't they? A summit, as they call it. So goodbye, Zelensky, says Mr. Mark Rutte as he pats him on the back. Look at him, he's like a dog soaking it up there. That's what my dog looks like when I stroke its, when I run my hand down its neck.
Well, he's so pissed because he didn't get anything. He was allowed. I think he was allowed at the dinner. He wasn't allowed at any of the full meetings. And
he's not in fucking NATO. Why was he even there?
Well, no, exactly. Yeah, but his wife was front and center in the photograph. That's what I thought was hilarious, is that they'd moved him to the back by Ursula, and she was standing in the front row in this really garish yellow thing that she was wearing, with this big smile on her face. I bet she was really happy to have just upstaged the husband.
He turned up in a suit, but we'll see that later. Right. Mother of killed inexperienced British mercenary blames Ukraine for her son's death, the Daily Mail reports. Colby Dolman had neither military experience nor training, since at one time he had not even been able to get a job in the British Army due to health reasons. So he believed he could go out there and make a difference. And you know what? Why the fuck are we allowing people to go to what has got to be some kind of assisted dying program now?
Well, it's also, British politicians are guilty, Tories and Labour, because they're both indirectly encouraging people to do it.
Do you remember when this started? They were telling people, Liz Truss was telling people to go and fight for them.
New donation from someone.
But what's more disgusting,
there's a real one,
is that amazing.
It went off. I'm thinking that might be you. Who was it? Who was it earlier that was asking how? Dave. I think that might be Dave. But if it was you, Dave, thank you. If it wasn't, why, thank you. No, it was Kofi bot support on somebody. New donation from the vertical stream. You beauty.
Oh, wow.
You beauty.
I think that's the first ever donation you've had from the vertical stream.
I think it might be. I think it is. And it worked. It worked a treat. You got the siren and everything. I don't know if you got it on the vertical stream, but for you, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, let's
anyway,
move on.
As I was saying about before we move on, I just want to make one little ranty point that what happened to this kid. Okay, he was deluded going to Ukraine, thinking he could make a difference, but he was obviously wanting to fight for something bigger than him. I can I can respect that on a human level. I think he was an idiot, but I mean, his motivation was there. But I mean, to start with, he was essentially just sent off as cannon fodder, and they didn't even recover his body. Literally, the Ukrainians just sent him out to get blown away, and he got blown away, and they just left him there. And the British government hasn't done absolutely sweet fuck all to help. And I think his mother's right to make a stink about it.
Yeah, well,
but
yes,
it's also a lesson. It's a lesson for anyone out there thinking of joining the army to go off and fight for your country. Your country doesn't give a shit about you.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It's simple, and I mean, if you look at the World War I, World War II, I've seen World War I veterans talk about it, and they realized afterwards, your country doesn't. You might love your country, but your country doesn't give a shit about you, and they will leave you rotting in a field.
Because you're not fighting for your country, are you? You're fighting for the government of the day. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
The government of the day will promise you all sorts of things and will tell you all sorts of nonsense in order to get your loyalty, and then they will literally stick it up your backside without any lube. That's what they will do.
And the media will just feed off it. Yeah. If we had a mainstream media that was actually doing its job, and people were well informed rather than just being propagandized sheep, then stuff like this wouldn't happen.
And Militant Mushroom makes a very fucking good point. This is not Call of Duty. You do not respawn. You do not respawn. Well, if you do respawn, you're not going to remember.
Well, if you do respawn, then the Buddhists are right.
Yeah, but you'll still have that draft of forgetfulness, so you won't remember. Right, moving on.
Very true. Moving on.
Right, Russian Embassy, UK, Troll Masters Incorporated. Take us through it, Ed.
Oh, this is just... I swear to God, there's a university of trolling that all Russian politicians have to attend before they get any power. But this is the Russian embassy's response. Mark Rutte need not worry about London switching to Russian. Much of London already has, as we can happily attest. For many of the UK capital and beyond, including Ukrainians living there, Russian is the language of choice. And it's absolutely true because of how much inflows of Russian capital we had in the 90s and early noughties. That there's a huge amount of London that is owned by Russians. And most of the Ukrainians that live in London probably speak Russian as well. So it's just, the whole thing is completely bonkers. That's why they shouldn't be fighting. I mean, the fact that all of these divisions and stuff are being manufactured to create this, it's just, the whole thing disgusts me. Anyway, let's move on.
So moving on to the side point there, I think it's all over. I think the start of the end is definitely here for Ukraine because we have now donated our vaccination buses to them. Well done.
So we got no more challenges. We've got no more howitzers. The only thing that the British government has got left to send to Ukraine is COVID vaccination buses.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Woo! What are they going to... I mean...
Way to go.
I mean, we have our opinions on those shots, which we're going to be a bit careful with because this is still YouTube.
I have no opinion. I'm not a doctor.
But can I just ask a really stupid question? How is a bus of any military value whatsoever?
Don't worry about it, mate.
Apart from just a target. I mean,
just don't worry about it. Don't worry. That's fine. Just don't worry about it. It'll be fine and it'll be all right in the night. Right, moving on. Maria Zakharova. That's one of your birdies. You like her, don't you?
Maria Zakharova. Oh, she's brilliant. So today in the Kursk region, a drone of the Ukrainian armed forces attacked a Chinese TV crew from the Phoenix channel that was filming a report on the restoration of peaceful life in the area. So Ukrainians are now, I mean, apparently they had the usual press.
So a drone attacked.
Helmets and stuff.
A drone attacked the guy, knocked him down, injured him. He's in hospital recovering. Luckily, he was wearing a flak jacket. So the question, whoa, Dave Barnes, 199, you stormer. You stormed in there, Dave. Well done. So, where was I? So I've been put off my thread. Oh no, right. So yeah, I had a kind of discussion with someone today on Twitter, and I said, well, you know, they said, isn't this an act of war against China? And I'm like, well, not really. I mean, your news crew goes into a war zone. Surely they've got to be a bit responsible for their own actions, you know? I mean, if they get hit, they get hit.
Well, yeah, but I think under the laws of war, aren't journalists and medics?
Collateral damage, mate. Well, hold on.
Well, yeah, I mean, war is war.
Let me point this out. There's a certain country in the Middle East that has a habit of shooting journalists, right? Yeah,
Like
right,
lots and lots
okay.
of them.
Yeah, it has a habit of shooting journalists, and nobody's ever declared war on them because of it.
I know, but that also happens to be a country that can pretty much do whatever the hell it likes and just
Yeah, but I mean,
ignore international law.
They're shooting Arab journalists. Well, everybody ignore. Right, I mean, international law is the biggest pile of shit that's ever been uttered out of someone's face because everybody ignores it. UK and USA ignored it when we fabricated evidence to go into Iraq. We pretended to, you know, we paid like what would we put down a kind of a platitude to say that we were obeying by it, but we weren't, right? Trump has just fucking breached international law on a number of occasions by bombing Iran. There's no justification for what he did. None. I mean, none at all. None
Libya.
at all.
Well,
I mean, it's not.
there was no
nothing for Libya. I mean, there's so much at Suez. You know, I mean, there's just so fucking much. Everything. I mean, well, why do we get into Vietnam? To stop the domino effect. Do you remember getting taught about that in school? And that didn't make any difference. We lost Vietnam and there was no domino effect. Thailand, Cambodia, they all still stayed fucking the way they were. They didn't fall to the communists, you know? So, international law is a crock of shit. Nobody abides by it unless it suits their purpose. And that's why when the EU starts bleating about international law, they're the biggest fucking ironists on the planet. They really are.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, there are actually countries that are.
I need an end run.
Well, no, that's fine. But I mean, there are actually countries that are big countries that are sticklers for international law, and those countries are actually Russia and China. When you look at, let's go back to the NPT, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty.
Well, that's true.
One of the biggest sticklers for that
dare
would be Russia.
That's true.
Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with my buttons.
I mean, but this next bit on the slide, you spoke about the regions in Ukraine that we consider ours. Russians and Ukrainians are one nation. In that sense, all of Ukraine is ours. Make of that what you will.
Dave,
So
don't worry about it, mate. If you want to, though, you can always drop something into Ko-fi or PayPal or whatever later. There's no problem. If you feel that you need to. Right. Let's move on to this guy. You spoke about the Putin interview.
I've read it out already.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you read it? When did you read that out?
While you were thinking about what David done in the
right. Okay,
chat.
that's fine. So, what would you take from that? What do you take from that?
Given how the sort of ceasefire negotiations thing hasn't happened, I suspect that there's going to be a military end to the conflict in Ukraine, and that military end will probably involve Russia taking, I don't know, going west of the Dnieper River, and maybe Kiev and Odessa, and you'll end up with Galicia right in the far west with all of the Ukrainian nationalists, and nobody really wants that. And parts of it are Hungarian and Romanian anyway. I don't see, I mean, given that Ukraine doesn't want to have serious negotiations and they just want to lay demands down on the table and say, no, you have to, I mean, what is it? Zelensky, when he was in The Hague, he was talking about a war crimes tribunal. They want to establish some sort of court to try Russian leaders. I mean, it's farcical. It's absolutely farcical. The losing side in the war doesn't get to set the terms, and this is what the Ukrainians in the West don't seem to understand. is that when it comes to war, war is war. And ultimately, if you take territory in war and you hold that territory, it's what you were saying earlier on about international law, that ultimately international law is an attempt to try and civilize the world, but international relations doesn't work like that. Might is right, realpolitik, all of that kind of thing. And you don't, particularly when we're talking about a superpower that sees an existential threat on its border. If the situation was translated to America and you had the Chinese had overthrown the Mexican government and put in power a very I mean, look at what happened in Cuba. Perfect example.
So
absolutely.
So Kevin Elrod on the vertical chat, right, has said, your opinion about my president means absolutely nothing. I'm assuming his president's Trump, right? Because it came up just after I said about him breaking international law. Well, that's not an opinion, Kevin. That's a fact. That's an actual fact. He didn't have any reason to bomb Iran. Just because he thinks there's nuclear weapons there doesn't mean he's allowed to, right? He didn't seek UN approval. I don't think he even sought approval from Congress, did he? And I don't think that's constitutional. Never mind anything else. He didn't comply with your own fucking laws. Never mind international law. Yep. The guy's a loose cannon. That's not an opinion. It's a statement of fact. What can I say?
But also, I will back Kevin up in one point, which says that we're Brits and our opinion about Trump doesn't mean jack shit.
We're not having opinions. As I said, these are facts.
We're ranting on a Friday night.
Yeah, we're entitled to. Because let's face it, we've listened to fucking decades of Americans ranting at us. So, hey, shoes on the other foot. Right, moving on. Ukraine. The UK stands with Ukraine. Of course it does. An extra 280 million. That's not a lot, is it? Really, in real terms.
The numbers are going down. I mean, I still object to the 280 million because, I mean, that's probably just for Zelensky's retirement fund. But it's, I mean, how much more? We don't have enough money to fix the roads. We don't have enough. We've got to charge farmers inheritance tax. We've got to take money off disabled people. I mean, and we're just spaffing hundreds of millions, if not billions of pounds on Ukraine.
May I interject slightly?
Yeah, go on.
I made a tweet earlier this week about disabled people. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but what I said was that I'd rather that some people got paid disability for the wrong reasons than a genuine disabled person lost it.
Me too.
You know? And I think I got to say, I think what Labour's doing is wrong. You know? I have no problem. I have no problem with properly investigating and means testing or whatever and checking that disabled people are properly disabled before they get it. That's fine. But if you've already given it to them, you can't take it off them.
I don't think disabled benefits are the problem, particularly PIP. I mean, my ex actually helped her.
They're going to change PIP.
Well, exactly. And I mean, I can understand that the thing is that they need to do a Doge on their own DWP, because if you look at the amount of mistakes, I mean, the DWP makes so many mistakes that the government is using that as an excuse to take to assume the power to be able to spy on everybody's bank accounts.
Yeah.
And then claw that money back. I mean, how about we stop and we make the department more efficient? But the PIP process, I've been through it with my ex, and the actual amount of fraud in the PIP system is almost zero.
Yeah.
And the system itself is brutal. To actually get it, you have the multi-page. It's like a bloody little book that you have to fill in with the form.
Yeah.
And then you have to attend the interview and the assessments. It's brutal. I mean, especially when someone is disabled. The only way a disabled person ever gets the PIP is if they've got an able-bodied friend that's helping them with it. because if
Yeah.
you're severely disabled,
Oh, you can't
you
fill
can't
in.
even do the
I know.
process.
You can't.
I mean, it's
You've
I
got
just
to get it
think
filled in for you. Right.
absolutely. But when we're giving so much money abroad, and we don't have, if you're not, you have to look after yourself first,
Charity
and then you
begins
can
at
take
home.
care of other people.
Charity
Absolutely.
begins at home.
Yep. And that's right. Our favorite Russian, Dmitry Medvedev, who's a perfect example of why people should be really happy that we've got Putin and not Medvedev. So Dima's latest, the island called Britain is likely to sink in the next few years. Our hypersonic missiles will help if necessary. To which the entire British population responds, you only need you need like 4 of them, and they need to go in one place, and then you sort us out.
What was I going to say? Barabada.
I don't know.
You'll need to tell me what review you're talking about, mate. Are you talking about the conversation or something? Anyway, right, moving on. I actually just
What David said, troll aura times a billion. Yeah, that's Medvedev. I think he might be a professor in the Russian school of trolling.
I think he could be the chief troll.
Well, it's like you get the impression, because I mean he's a very he's more extreme than Putin, but he's actually a very level-headed guy. But you get the impression that at some point he and Putin got together and they were like, okay, I'm going to do the good cop, you're going to do the bad cop. And it's like when you talk to actors who play baddies, who play bad characters, they absolutely love it because they can just unleash. And it's like really cathartic for them. I reckon that's what's happening with Medvedev.
Right. Oh, right. Okay, we're back to the conversation. Right. Okay, I'll watch it, Frankie. Okay, I'll watch the conversation. Right. Instructors from the Bundeswehr who teach the Ukrainian soldiers the art of war were asked how to overcome minefields. They answered, you have to go around them because, according to German regulations, a minefield is a rectangle, 100 by 200 meters.
And this explains why the Ukrainians are losing.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is the top-notch training they're getting from the West, is it any surprise?
No.
But I mean, there's something so unbelievably German about that.
Oh,
it's like, he builds this minefield, and it is 100 meters by 200 meters, and the minefield is not any smaller, not any bigger, yeah?
But
this is how we build the minefield.
But we won't tell you which way the 100 meters is.
This is how you kill them, yeah?
Right, okay, yeah. Australia's joined the assisted dying debate by sending 100 troops to Ukraine to help defeat Russia. What?
I think they're actually their support staff for some sort of Australian aircraft that is being sent, like an Australian AWACS or something.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Can I just ask? Okay, so Australia's not in NATO. It's not even. I mean, it's
on the Five Eyes,
other side of the planet. Yeah, okay, but that's the Five Eyes is an intelligence alliance, not Five Eyes is not military. Five Eyes is everybody spying on each other.
No, I think that's a girl.
The way
carry on.
The way the Five Eyes works is really simple. They come up with an agreement where they have their own internal laws that says the British government is not allowed to spy on British people. MI6 and the CIA is not allowed to spy on Americans. So what you get is the MI6 spies on the Americans and tells the CIA everything, and the CIA spies on Brits and tells MI6 everything.
Yeah, but the MI5 spy on Brits anyway. We don't need MI6. The MI5 spy on Brits. So does GCHQ.
Amongst others.
So does the NCA. Sorry. I don't know if my Secrets Act signing still covers that. How long does after you've signed the Official Secrets Act does it expire?
I think it's when you die.
No.
So
like to read us. Check this out.
You signed it. You should have bloody read it.
Oh, when did you last read the terms and conditions when you signed something?
Well, if someone was giving me the Official Secrets Act, I would actually read it first.
It doesn't expire, says
We're not talking about mobile phone T's and C's.
Yeah, but when you're you're getting that much money, you've got to go, yeah, okay, it's fucking, I'll sell my soul.
Well, maybe you need to be a bit more careful. Get a knock on the door. We'll end up midstream having John raided by bloody MI5 because he's broken the Official Secrets Act.
Typical IT guy, says DW. Right, moving on. Zelensky is wearing a suit. That's so fucking it is, isn't it? Zelensky is wearing a suit. He got out of the car wearing a suit. He's climbing up the steps wearing a suit. He's at a NATO summit where he really shouldn't be.
He didn't have a tie on. I mean, it was. You could tell they were like, look, they don't want you there.
No, they don't.
And they really don't want you there if you're not going to wear a suit. And it's like, okay, I wear this. And he's literally not a tie. He's got a black shirt on. It was vaguely a suit, but you can tell that he's on his. It's like the thing says. It's so fucking over.
He's on his jotters, as they say. So
and the next one.
Yeah, go on.
Go on.
No, you sent me that. You tell me.
Yeah. Well, no. This is a chart of confidence in Zelensky's in different countries. And so the Swedes have the most. So how brainwashed must Swedish people be for like 86% of them to have confidence in him? I mean,
Swedes are rule followers, mate. They're rule followers. They're lovely.
I mean, the Netherlands and UK,
they are fucking lovely people, right? But they are rule followers. They really are.
Well, I mean, I've known some absolutely lovely Swedish people.
Yeah,
but
they're rule followers.
That's still, I mean, but it's also the level of brainwashing. I mean,
they're
what
all
must
socialists.
The Swedish media be like?
They're all socialists as well.
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with it. Just imagine. I mean, you can just imagine what Swedish news channels are like.
Look how bad the UK is, though.
Yeah, but Sweden must be worse. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so astounding to me, because I live in the UK, and the UK's at 25%. I'm half English and half Dutch, so both halves are at 25%. But no, the thing with Greece is that after what was done to them in 2008 and stuff, they don't trust anybody, I don't think.
Yeah, well, quite rightly so. Right, okay.
And although the fact that Greece is higher than or lower than Hungary, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
You might think that Hungary would be one of the highest ones.
You sent me this as well.
300 pounds of highly enriched Ukrainians. It's just, I mean, it speaks for itself. It's brilliant. There's some people on X are just, AI couldn't make that up.
Couldn't.
Forget all of the AI stuff. There's no way that AI could write a tweet like that.
I fought the law and the law won. The little caption says NATO class of 2025.
But that's sort of. I think actually it should have been. We should have had Zelensky and Starmer together in the other ones, because there was that picture of him at the NATO conference where they're all of the big boys were talking in a circle, and he's just standing there looking at them, thinking,
"Right,
why am I not being let in?"
We're not even halfway through the slides, and I'm going to give you this message from our sponsor. Oh, what happened there? Oh no, it's not. It's the next one. Right. Okay, let's move on to this one. American competition against Russia for the Arctic has been contracted out to Finland. Apparently, America can't build an icebreaker or hasn't got any. So, what's his name? Trump wants to buy 15 of them. So, he's in talks to buy 15 icebreakers from Finland. And he says one of them's now available. The king of icebreakers, you make him good. Someone negotiated for 15 icebreakers. So, Finland is now making... They're
not the king of icebreakers.
No, they're not. Russia's the king of icebreakers. Russia's got nuclear-powered icebreakers, haven't they?
I mean, those Russian nuclear-powered icebreakers are one of the most impressive ships on the high seas, I have to say. When you actually look at them...
On the high seas.
Well...
Yeah, they are impressive.
And just the fact that it just goes to show you where US manufacturing is at, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I mean,
it's the same place as UK's. It's in the fucking toilet. That's exactly
they've actually
where
got
it is.
More.
Yeah, well, they've got more. Ours is doing the U-bend, mate.
Yeah, ours is in the U-bend and theirs is kind of circling the bowl.
Yeah, ours is round the U-bend and heading out to sea. That's where ours is.
But at least they've got a government that's actually trying to reverse the situation.
Yeah, at the moment.
And okay, maybe he's buying the icebreakers now, but he's still trying to do stuff.
See, this is the thing. This is the thing about America. And I mean, people might get me wrong. They might pick me up wrong because I love America. I fucking love America. I'd love to live in America. I've been to America so many times. I love America, right? What I don't love is I don't love government. And you Americans are not a fucking democracy. You're a republic. And the federal government has overreached itself in so many... He's not your fucking president. He's basically just a mayor of the states. He needs to be fucking curtailed. The people that you should be supporting are your state representatives, not your fucking president. Because your state is part of that republic, and your state should get the best things it should for your state. Because who knows better what's needed in your state than the people running your state, the people living in your state? Not some fuckwit Donald Trump or Biden or whatever who doesn't give a fuck about your personal state. You need to concentrate on your states and reduce the power of the federal government. That's what you need to do. Run over.
Have you finished?
Yes, I'm finished.
Well, I was going to say, it's even in the Constitution that all of all the powers not specifically allocated to the executive, to the federal government, are automatically delegated to the states.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing is, we've got the same problem in the UK because we have these, in our case, it's the Magna Carta and common law. Mm-hmm. And we have these foundational principles that work brilliantly and actually really good. US Constitution, Magna Carta, etc. The problem is that we've had hundreds of years of fucking politicians getting in the way and trying to hoover up more power for themselves. And you have these massive bureaucracies. Yeah. And it's just, it goes Pete Tong. Anyway, next slide, because we'll be here until midnight.
We bring you a message from our sponsor, who we don't have. So
we've got some sponsors this evening.
Yeah, we do. Well, I don't call them. I call them producers because they help out. They help out every week. Anyway, so far 2025 feels like being awake during surgery.
It really does.
I went to the dentist. I went to the dentist once as a child. When I say a child, I had my second teeth, so I must have been round about puberty or whatever, something like that. But anyway, I needed a filling, and the dentist drilled it and hit the nerve without any anesthesia, and kept fucking going. You ever seen that film Marathon Man, where the dentist drills Dustin Hoffman's front tooth? That's what it felt like, and I fucking never went to the dentist for like 5 years after that. I hate dentists.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
PTSD.
So what you're basically saying is that so far 2025 feels like having dental treatment without the anesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So next one.
Yep.
Ukraine fans turned the Russian flag upside down to insult Putin, but Bosnian fans thought it was a Serbian flag and attacked them. This is classic 2025. It really is. You couldn't make it up. I mean, it's equal parts like venality and idiocy. Yeah. I mean, because literally you just flip one flag upside down and you got the other flag, and you would think that they would know that because they're all.
Look at the flag. I mean, let's face it. If you put a Russian flag, a fucking Russian, Dutch, French, Serbian, they're all the fucking same. They're just a variation on three colours.
Yeah, it's just red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
But then the Union Jack is red, white, and blue as well.
Yeah, but it's quite distinctive.
Well, yeah, but it's still the point. The point being that it's still red, white, and blue. And then the Dutch flag, you couldn't turn the Dutch flag which way and make it look like either a Serbian or a Russian flag because the colours are in a different order.
Yes. Yes, I know that, but they're all the
And with the
fucking
French flag,
same.
they're in a completely different direction.
Right, yeah, okay, fucking hell, Mr. Literal. Have you been tested for autism? Right, in the Israeli city of Haifa, an Iranian missile destroyed a cafe, Nasha Kuchnya, our kitchen, which was run by Ukrainian nationalists. The Kremlin's hand reached out to there too. Sure it did. Putin did it. Putin did it.
Always Putin. If anything bad happens in your life, you stub your toe, or you cut yourself like getting the stone out of an avocado, just blame Putin. It's always his fault.
If you cut yourself getting a stone out of an avocado, you're using a too blunt knife. Always keep your knives razor sharp. That way you won't cut yourself. And if you do, you'll lose a digit. And at least you'll have something to fucking crow about. Right, moving on. Royal Navy is running out of sailors, Fleet Commander warns. UK's naval... Well, we covered this last... I mean, Kit Kallenberg covered it in January. We covered this last October, right? Because we said the Royal Navy were mothballing ships because we didn't have enough sailors to man them, right? So we covered this well before fucking Kit Kallenberg did, right? But that's fine. I'll give him his credit. UK's naval forces have failed to hit recruitment targets every year since 2011. Have you seen the fucking recruitment adverts? Have you? I mean, you really need to have a look at them because...
I don't watch adverts, so...
No, but I mean, we did a whole video on military recruitment adverts comparing, the different places like the US and the UK and Russia. Like, you don't want the first two supporting you. Right, anyway.
Well, the point being that our dear leader and his minions are trying to start World War III with pretty much anybody that they can find.
No, you can't put that one up.
This is a very clear indication that
Sorry, David Nolan put up a very... I'm hoping he was talking about transit vans, but you can't say that these days. Not on YouTube, David. Come on. Right, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say that our august government is trying to start World War III with anyone that they can find.
Yeah.
And this is a very clear indication that the British people are not behind them. I mean, if you can't hit recruitment targets, because it's not just the Navy, it's the Air Force and the Army as well. And if you can't hit your recruitment targets, it's probably not a good idea to try and start a war with someone.
No, it isn't, mate. It isn't. The Royal Navy patrol ship HMS Spey, meantime, has transited the Taiwan Strait. Not once, but twice, reaffirming the United Kingdom's commitment to freedom of navigation in international waters. This is just stirring the shit, isn't it? This is like
Russia.
Well,
it's reaffirming the United Kingdom's commitment to stirring the shit pot.
Yeah, and what happens if a Russian ship goes down the English Channel? They go fucking ape shit. They go absolute ape shit.
Well, no, they were trying to claim that it disguised itself. They never said what it was supposed to be disguised as. But
disguised by
an article saying,
not a ship. Not a ship. I'm a penguin.
I mean, it's just crazy. But not just that. If you actually look at HMS Spey, it's not exactly the most impressive warship I've ever seen.
Mate, it's a gunboat. You could take that up a river in Vietnam.
It's just, I mean, I can't understand how a country can be so. It's like Britain is like this tiny ass little chihuahua that is just barking and trying to nip everyone's ankles.
Right. See, the problem is Britain used to own not half the world, nearly half the world, but Britain had 25% of the fucking countries of the world, and over a third of the population or something under its little thumb. And that's the legacy. And people still think we are like that, and we're not anymore. It's gone. We can't put anything to sea, and we don't have I mean, you think if Argentina decided to actually take the Falklands back, do you think we could stop them? Really? Do you?
Well, we couldn't stop them back in the 80s, because if it hadn't been for the Americans refueling our ships on the way to the Falklands, they would have been stuck in the middle of the Atlantic with no fuel. But the point being is, you would think that we would be a bit more civilized. That we're not, because if you look at how belligerent the British government is, and the size of the military and our ability to back that belligerence up with something other than Starmer's hot air, I despair.
Right.
Like, what the hell is wrong with peace? Why can't we all just get on, trade with each other, etc.?
This is what the Royal Navy is fucking reduced to these days, mate. A Swedish submarine ran out of coffee. The British came to the rescue. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Well,
what do you make of that?
I mean, I think that the Swedes need to up the submarine game, because if you look at the US Navy, they've long boasted that the best food in the US military is served on submarines in the Navy, because they have to, because the chefs have got nowhere to hide if the crew aren't happy with the food. But given how the thing is that the Swedes are coffee drinkers, so what kind of crap quartermaster have you got on a submarine that he doesn't stock enough coffee for his crew? I mean, what the hell?
I mean, they've compromised the submarine because they've come to the surface. What have you ever been in a submarine?
I'm sorry, did they check their torpedoes? Are they sure they left port with any fucking torpedoes if they didn't take enough coffee? I mean, what the hell?
You ever been in a submarine?
Oh no.
I reckon they're absolutely mental. The HMS Odin, I think, was in Tamar when we were out there, and one of the guys says, "Do you want to look around it?" And I goes, "Yeah, okay." So we get my mum and dad and we went on the submarine. We were looking around it, and the quartermaster's mess was just the sergeant's mess was just starting. Not the sergeant's, fucking CPO's mess. The chief's mess was just starting a movie, right? And it was the Guns of Navarone, or Where Eagles Dare. It was one of the
good films.
It was one of the Alistair MacLean. I've read all his books as well, but it was one of the Alistair MacLean movies. And they said, "Oh, they're just going to start in the movie. Do you want to watch that or see around the sub?" And I'm like, "I'll watch the movie, thanks." I was such a fucking Navy brat. I'd had enough of ships by that point.
I have to say, I've got massive respect for men and women. I guess they have women on them now that choose to go in the submarine. I couldn't do it. The claustrophobia and being around all those people just gives me shivers just thinking about it.
You can't take a break. Can't take a break, mate. You can't walk outside and have a fag. Anyway, well, you've got. I mean, it's now coming to the point that I think CAC has been in every show that we've had this year.
This is Kaka's Corner.
Yeah, it is Kaka's Corner.
We should spell corner with a K as well.
We should, yeah.
So what she done? So Estonia's fought and died for the US in Afghanistan. Kaka explains why she's confident that Trump will never abandon Estonia. Does he even know where Estonia is?
No, it doesn't.
Article 5 is very clear. The US itself has stated that Article 5 is binding. Let me remind you that the only time the only time
Article 5 was initiated was when America asked for help after 9/11, right? So Article 5 has never, in reality, been properly initiated because America didn't have a fucking clue who attacked it, because I still suspect it was itself, right? Therefore, Article 5 shouldn't have applied. But apart from that, every other action that NATO has taken has been offensive. It's not a defensive organisation.
But I need to interject. I need to interrupt you. Because if you actually go to the NATO Charter, you read what Article 5 says, it doesn't say that if one country is attacked, every other country is immediately going to go batshit crazy.
No, I know it doesn't say that.
Whoever it was. Article 5 says that if a member country is attacked, the other members of NATO will sit around a table and figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah. And you can ask for assistance. You can ask for assistance if you're attacked. And you can claim Article 5, I need a protection. But that doesn't mean you have to do it. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, but can I also point out that as we've said, Article 5 has only been invoked once by the US. And every other action that NATO has taken has been offensive. Offensive.
And unilateral.
Yeah. Anyway, why do I keep reading this as Etonians? Every time I read these things, I go, Etonians fought and died. Well, yeah, they probably did, yeah. But, I mean, what's that got to do with you, Kaka? Oh, right, Estonians.
No, the Etonians didn't.
No, it was the Estonians. Right, okay. Right. Estonia is preparing for war. Are they digging trenches with those nails? Yeah, look at the fucking state of that. They're not doing anything, mate. You got to excuse Ed. His consumption is catching up with him.
Yeah, it bloody feels like it at the moment.
He's been checked out, and apparently he's all right.
and I need to stop smoking, but
yeah, well, that may have something to do with it.
Stop smoking in this world. Seriously, yeah. I don't understand how non-smokers not smoke.
I need to stop drinking, mate. It's not happening, is it? Right.
Nope.
I've never smoked, so I can't tell you how you would even start. That's the thing. It's something that I've always found abhorrent. Right, moving on.
Moving on.
US intelligence, oxymoron, believes Pakistan is developing a nuclear-armed ICBM capable of... Of course it is! Let's bomb Pakistan! Hey, get the B-2s out! Get the boys and the B-2s out! Let's go bomb Pakistan! Why not? Hey, 100% behind you guys! 100% behind you! Go do it! Given
the state of international politics, anyone that is able to develop a nuclear weapon should probably be doing it, because as North Korea has proved, the only way to stop yourself getting bombed and attacked is if you've got one of those bloody things. I mean, this is the problem when you when you forget about international law.
Yeah, boy, exactly.
Principles and
who's got the biggest stick.
If we're going back to the law of the jungle, if you're going to do law of the jungle shit, then the person with the biggest and fastest missiles wins.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right, and that's exactly what's happening right now, and that's why
it's absurd.
That's why Trump goes and drops a load of bombs on Iran, but won't drop them on Ukraine. You know what I mean?
Well,
no, I meant the part of Ukraine that's not Ukrainian at the moment. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, but that's a whole, because it's one thing to send planes.
Yeah, but
Iran.
I'm
completely.
I'm reinforcing your argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's move on. Trial on Monday. Do you recognise these guys? These two guys on the left? Manchester Airport.
Oh, man! Oh, those two. Right.
Trial on Monday. Trial on Monday.
Oh, they'll get a slap on the wrist. I mean, they haven't. I mean, I as far as I know, none of them have said anything bad on social media, so they'll probably get let off.
Zara Sultana says we are all Palestine action. Well, I disagree with you, Zara. I preferred you when you were Zara Bakaki MP, but you're not. This is not.
That was a different account, you know.
Oh,
that, right?
Was it? Oh, damn. Anyway, no, I don't think we are all Palestine action. What do you think? What do you make of this Palestine action shit about being prescribed a terrorist organisation? Because remember, we covered this last week, okay? We covered this last week, and they didn't just paint the planes; they attacked them with crowbars. I mean, because they've apparently caused 25 million quid's worth of damage. Okay.
Yeah, but okay, let's look at the language here. Terrorism is about inflicting terror in order to achieve a political aim.
Yeah.
You inflict terror on people. You don't inflict terror on aircraft. So from the perspective of the fact that these guys broke into a military base, which they shouldn't have been able to do if the military was a bit more competent.
Yeah.
And they managed to e-scooter their ways right the way across the tarmac without anybody trying to stop them. In order to damage these aircraft that were owned by a hedge fund that we've now found out
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who owns. It doesn't matter who owns the aircraft.
It's not. in my opinion, just purely on the linguistics, it doesn't meet the definition of terrorism.
Okay.
The government is using the 2000 terror legislation.
Yeah. Was government overreach? Well,
yes.
Fucking
absolutely.
colour me shocked. Colour me shocked. Government overreach. Yeah, I agree with you, Ed. It is government overreach. But on the same boat, it's not vandalism. It's fucking sabotage. Right?
Well,
it's sabotage. That's what it is. It's not. It's maybe not terrorism, but it's sabotage. It's not vandalism.
But ultimately, I would not be surprised if the people who were doing it fully expected to end up getting locked up for it.
Yeah,
and
well,
sometimes if you, well, they didn't hurt anybody, and they
hold on. Are you saying if you don't hurt anyone, you shouldn't get locked up?
No, I'm not saying that they shouldn't get locked up because they committed a crime.
Right.
Apart from the fact that they broke onto a military base without permission, which just scootering across a military runway without permission is a crime, as far as I know. I
fucking understand.
And
I cannot understand how they got into the base in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, and the thing is with government is they like focusing on, they're terrorists. But there's been no mention of what's happening at Bryce Norton. No, they're not. Of course,
they're not terrorists. It's like that's like saying fucking green. Well, it's like Greenpeace.
It's the Green and Common women.
That's who I was thinking of. Green and Common. It's like saying they're terrorists, and they're not. They're not. They're fucking.
I mean, this country has a long tradition.
They're liberal do-gooders. Yeah.
Well, this country has got a long tradition of people having strong beliefs, and trying to do something about it. And I respect their beliefs, because on some level I actually agree with them, because genocide is a bad thing.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. What the fuck why are they attacking these planes then? That's the point I don't get. No, they weren't.
Because they were.
No, they weren't. You cannot refuel. You cannot refuel any fucking Israeli fighter jet with our tankers, because they have two different fueling systems. And I have been banging on about this all fucking week. We use probe and drogue, right? And they use flying boom. And these two systems will never successfully mate.
I know we were ranting about it last week.
They will never successfully mate.
Can we not have the same rant 2 weeks in a row, please?
Well, we obviously got to, because people still think we're refueling Israeli planes, and we're not. We can't do it. We just can't fucking do it. All of NATO uses probe and drogue.
Yeah, but the point is that it doesn't look. The fact is that yes, they broke the law. Yes, they're going to have to suffer the consequences for that. Are they terrorists? No. Let's move on.
And we're in agreement. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This
fundamentally, on that point, we are completely in agreement.
Yeah, we're basically in agreement, mate. Right. I mean, we have our different viewpoints. Yeah, but the thing is,
we're really good at arguing about stuff, even when we agree.
We are fucking brilliant at arguing about stuff, even when we agree. Right, the big face in the bottom right is a cop who said to his PC colleague, "Pull my finger," and when she didn't, he farted anyway, and is now facing the sack. Appropriate or overreach?
Where's the slide?
What?
You haven't changed the slide.
No, I don't need to. The big face in the bottom right is the cop who asked the PC to pull my finger, and when she didn't, he farted anyway.
Okay, I didn't see a headline, so I thought that was a
post. No, that's it. That's it. Oh, the next one's a police again. The next one you won't fucking believe me. This is Scotland.
Well, that particular story. I mean, this is just schoolboy humor. I mean,
it is, and it happened. What used to happen all the time.
Disciplinary for that. I mean, what the hell?
For fuck's sake, you should be like, for fuck's sake, grow a pair. The pair of you and get back out there on the street. Yeah,
exactly.
Wait, here we go. This is Police Scotland. Are you ready? Police Scotland say transgender suspects have the right to ask for a male officer to search one half of their body and a female officer to search the other half. Now, the first problem I have is immediately when I read that, I think, how will that help if the body is half vertically?
It's just
nuts.
It's like a woke wormhole of idiocy. I just can't.
On my wavelength. It's fucking idiocy. It really is stupidity, isn't it? How do you deal with that?
I just can't. I mean, the pandering to all of this nonsense is, I mean, especially after the Supreme Court verdict, which one would have thought would have settled it, but I guess not. And I mean, the subject is so sensitive that you and I can't even really say what we properly think because of the platform we're on. It's absurd.
Ridiculous, mate. It's
I mean, and not just that, but it's if you think of the massive waste of resources.
Yeah.
Because instead of just having one officer to search one suspect, you have to have two officers of two different genders to search the one suspect. I mean, what happens if there's no women working that night? What do you do then?
It's just crazy. No, there'll always be women working these days.
Let's move on before we get ourselves into trouble.
Okay. Survivors of the 1976 UK heat wave are to be are to be offered counselling and an apology from the Met Office for them not issuing a warning that the sun can be hot. And there is a heat map from 1976. It was fucking hot. Even in Scotland, it was hot.
Yeah, but just we have this nice, pleasant colours. I mean, that was what that was what the weather forecast used to look like back in the days before climate change. Where I saw one this week.
Yeah,
that was they've gone so far. Well, no, but they've gone so far from the deep red that they were using this horrible ash color that looked like the remains of a relative that's been cremated. Seriously,
I'm surprised I haven't started putting fucking volcanoes up today. Lava pools. It's going to be so hot in London that you may as well bathe in a lava pool.
Yeah. It's like the whole. It's so apparent that all of this global warming, climate change is happening that they have to propagandize everybody by changing map colors, just to nudge them in the direction of it's much hotter. No, it's not. It's called it's called summer.
Fucking on slide 32. This is ridiculous.
Oh God! Well, yeah, it's because you keep ranting. Fuck's sake!
Right, Justin. This is one. Is this one of yours? Yes.
Oh yeah, no. This is heinous. So I'm
going to get a drink.
Democratic Free Europe, police raids have been launched against 170 Germans over hate speech cases. Their homes were raided in the early morning operations, with some also being targeted for insulting politicians on the internet. So these are not criminals. These are not terrorists. These are not people that have done anything seriously bad. These are people who have said something the government doesn't like. And in one case, I think at least one of the arrests was a 70-year-old guy who called Robert Habeck, who's the former German, he's a green German finance minister. And the guy called him an idiot, and he's been convicted. So this old guy's going to jail for calling the politicians an idiot. I mean,
that's ridiculous.
I would be doing if those laws applied in the UK after the amount of times I call.
Did they not? I thought they already did.
I
think you're on borrowed time, mate. I really do.
Well, if I'm on borrowed time, then you're also on borrowed time.
I got Krabby's green ginger, alcoholic ginger beer. Sorry, Krabby's alcoholic ginger beer because it was cheap. Anyway, and it was in a bottle.
Have fun with that hangover.
Oh fuck it! I passed it. I should have stuck to the beer, but anyway, right, yeah. I might be on borrowed time, but I'm off the grid.
That's a fair point. It would be. I mean, it would be. It would be thing if we both if we both got raided at the same time, while we're on
Swatted
air.
simultaneously, that would be a scream,
Oh,
wouldn't it?
that's got to be worth a few million views.
Oh, surely.
But it's just, I mean,
I'll
at the same
see if I
time,
can get someone
the
to
German
arrange it.
government is trying to preach to people about being democratic and everything else, to be sending SWAT teams in for stuff people say online. What the fuck is wrong with Europe? Seriously,
Well, what's wrong with the
just-
world, mate? This isn't just Europe. This is, well, it's the Western world. This is the Western world. It's the end times of civilization. Yo, Soldier. Good to see you, mate. Right, next. Rupert got some stick for this. Right? Okay. Rupert Lowe. For euthanizing his dog. Right? So apparently he took his dog out to the woods, gave it something nice to eat, and his gamekeeper shot it. Because it was 17 years old and it was time for it to go. And you know what? I think he did the right thing. You know, controversial.
Me too.
Call me an arsehole, but you know
I don't
what?
think it's controversial at all.
The dog.
I don't see how this is controversial.
Yeah, but people
apart
are saying
from-
it's horrible. But the dog's in an environment it knows. It's with people it loves. It doesn't know
It's
what's
not
going to
expecting
happen. There's no
Exactly.
trauma going to the vet or all that, because dogs aren't fucking stupid. They know what a vet is. I mean, my dog freaks out when it's going to get groomed, and it likes
I mean, to
that.
my mind, this is actually what he did is an infinitely more humane way of putting an animal out of its misery than the whole stress of taking it to a vet. They don't like vets. I mean, my cat absolutely hated the bloody vet.
Yeah.
And what's worse is they're literally trying to find anything they possibly can to smear this guy with.
I know, it's shocking. I mean, they did the guy a favour, and you know, sometimes you find yourself in situations where an animal is fucking suffering, and you've got to make a call whether you're going to do something or not. And I not that long ago, just before COVID, I was driving down the road, and there was a Discovery driving in front of me in Houston, Scotland. And this cat ran across the road, went under the Discovery and got hit with the prop shaft, and it fucked it off the bottom of the car and then spat it out the side. And the cat was, shall we say, severely damaged, right? Because you could see its brain, right? It was that bad. Even though cats have only got tiny brains, it was really, really badly injured, but it was still. And this guy was digging his garden, and that says, mate, you want to just do the job or I'll do it? And he goes, no, it's all right, mate, I'll do it. And he comes down with a shovel, because obviously he's going to smack it, you know, put out his misery. Because this thing was suffering. You weren't going to go and get a vet for this. And this woman came up and fucking started screaming at us, put it in her car and took it away and I'm thinking that poor animal just had its agony extended, whereas we would have just boom, there and then done. And so
it's just that
you just.
I just think it's outrageous that they're trying to smear him with this nonsense.
That is, mate.
Because it's less about the dog. The people that are all of the people that have been commenting on it, they don't give a single shit about the dog.
You're right. It's all about.
They're basically just trying to use it as an excuse to try and get rid of someone that they disagree with, who actually talks so much sense that when you look at even just little replies that he'll give to Keir Starmer or whatever, and he ratios the guy within half an hour. I mean, Rupert Lowe's got the reason that they hate him, the reason they had to get rid of him, is because what he says resonates with an awful lot of people, and he's not racist. If you go through his X account, you look at the number of times that he promotes his own, like Great Yarmouth, where he's the MP. I mean, compare that to any other MP in terms of how they actively promote their own constituency.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't always agree with him. I think his attitude towards the whole Israeli-Palestinian thing is, I don't agree with that. You don't have to agree with someone, but you have to respect them. And fundamentally, he's a man that stands by his principles, and I respect that.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway, let's move on.
I think the whole thing was ridiculous. It really was, mate.
Mm-hmm.
US
The
Embassy
people that were having to go at him just don't know anything about anything.
So apparently the US
That's
Embassy...
what it comes down to.
Why is this not tied up with that other one? Right, let's pass that one just now, right? What's his name? Carmelo Anthony was just charged with first-degree murder, and he's being tried as an adult. This is the guy that took the knife to the baseball game. If convicted, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison with no parole. His family are asking for 1.4 million extra on their GoFundMe to feed his to fund his defense. But as far as I'm concerned, this guy's guilty as charged. You know.
Well, if you take a knife to a baseball game and you end up stabbing someone and that person dies, then you should suffer the consequences of the law.
So Frankie wants to know what I mean by off the grid, and she said, "How do I get my electricity?" And I said, "No, I'm off the grid in terms of I have no fixed abode, right? I don't pay. I don't appear on any bills. I don't pay council tax. I don't appear on any bills. Therefore,
said that.
I know, I'm just reinforcing that point. I don't have a fixed abode. Therefore, where would you come to get me? That would be the question.
So essentially what you're saying is you're a homeless person.
Yeah, effectively I am. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
Right, moving on. Calls for Scotland-wide Seagull Summit. That's all. You appreciate this. Amid warnings, someone could be killed. Right. So apparently, Scots people have been getting attacked by seagulls, which, especially young kids, in certain parts of Scotland. And there was a 12-year-old, like attacked and lacerated about the head and things like that. Now, this is a bad time for seagulls because they will be breeding or they'll just have finished. So they're really aggressive, but they are really aggressive.
They've got their chicks out.
Yeah,
they are irritating and aggressive because the parents have to feed the little grey bastards.
Yeah, they are. But they're over aggressive. They really.
I had a seagull wake me up at 3 fucking o'clock this morning, tapping on the window wanting food, and. They literally, this time of year, I actually look. They ruined my summer.
Yeah,
I swear to God,
right.
I'm looking forward to the winter.
You know what? Ed stays by the sea. I'm nowhere near the fucking sea, and there's seagulls around here. This is a problem. They're an invasive species. They're seabirds. They shouldn't be inland because they shouldn't be able to fish. But they're opportunistic feeders. That's the problem. And they've discovered that humans are an easy mark. And people feed them.
And our fishing industry has been completely decimated, so they don't have fishing boats to follow around.
Well, you know what, mate? Seagulls were around well before fishing boats were, right? So I think they could do pretty well on their own. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, it
made it easier and they bred more. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You'd have to be a bit stupid to get killed by a seagull.
But they make a fucking mess of you. They're big birds.
They seem to be getting more intelligent.
I tell you, have you ever seen the movie The Birds? The Alfred Hitchcock movie. Just remember that the next time you're feeding these little bastards. There's one of your tweets anyway. Putin has weaponized seagulls.
Yeah, it's. Yes, that's just me making a sarcastic comment. Putin's weaponized everything. Our friend
Dave Barnes goes straight in there with tastes like chicken.
Apparently, they're really nasty to eat. I have never tried to eat one.
I wouldn't eat one.
But I have it on good authority because they're really because of being seabirds and needing the insulation. They're really, really greasy.
What the fuck? What the hell? No, right. Hold on. Frankie, nobody's put you on a timeout, I don't think. I think, are you hitting... I don't know what's happening. Frankie said she's on a timeout and she put money in today. So if anyone put
Frankie
timeout,
had a timeout last week.
yeah,
as well.
I know. I don't understand this. I can't understand how you're on a timeout.
Who would have done that? Because Frankie's not said anything that deserved a timeout.
Brett mate's deleted a couple of your message. Brett mate, could you just take the time out off and point out to her where she went wrong with the messages? But if you could take Brett mate's done the deleted message thing. So Brett mate, if you could do that, mate, I'd appreciate it. DW76, sorry Ed. I ran over a baby sparrow once. Like heck was I getting a shovel out for that? I just it was as far as I think. I ran over a pigeon once, right? In Argyle Street in Glasgow. In the middle of a Saturday afternoon, driving a traffic car. We're tootling along in traffic. Right? We're doing about 5 to 10 mile an hour. I'm just pulling along on an automatic Granada, and the thing's pulling along, and there's a pigeon walks across the road in front of me, and I'm thinking, well, I know what pigeons are like. They just scoot away, as soon as the car gets near them. So I just left it tootling along, and the next thing, we're driving along, and the pigeon should have been out the side, and I never saw it, and I thought, wonder where it went. And next thing I heard bump underneath the seat. Right, that was that getting hit by the prop shaft and thrown against the bottom of the car. Then I looked in the mirror, and there's all these feathers coming up behind the car, and people staring and going, "Look at that!" Shit happens.
Oh, I could beat that. When I was a kid, we were driving down to when we lived in Zambia. We were driving from Lusaka to Siavonga, which is about a 2-hour drive. And we were in a Volvo, a big estate Volvo that some friends of my dad were trying to sell, and they left the car with us, and my dad basically needed to drive it, and we hit a goat, like a proper big goat. And in situations like that in Africa, you tend not to stop just because. But when we got to the final destination, everyone was completely stunned because there's absolutely no damage to the front of this Volvo. It was amazing. And it was not a small goat. Anyway, next slide.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm just sending Frankie a message. Sorry about that, Frankie. Here we go. Oh, the Pastime Museum in Glastonbury. And there's a Pastime Museum in Glastonbury for some reason. And then I put this in at the side. Special exhibit out back. I thought it was funny. Oh yes, I'm a wag. Yeah.
You have one of the strangest senses of humor of any person I've ever met. That's not even remotely funny. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not when there's babies being incinerated. Let's move on.
Right, okay, moving on. If I can work, so can the rest of Britain, says amputee Pete. Yeah, that's fucking brilliant. This is back to this reduction in the amount of payments for disabled.
Yeah. This is a disgusting story because this is an individual who's got plenty of money. He's got a wife looking after him. He's actually, in terms of disability, yes, he's disabled. But there's plenty of people that are more disabled, and it's just this playing politics.
It's not just that, mate. It's not just that. It's getting a fucking job. Look, I've got 2 degrees, one of them a master's, and I can't get a job.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting interviews. See, after COVID, I'm not even getting interviews. If I apply for a job, I don't even get an interview. I've never been out of work in my life, and now I can't even get an interview. What's all that about?
Well, the economy is in the toilet. I mean, we've got the dear leader trying to tell us, gaslight us, and say there's 380,000 new jobs in the economy, and the payroll. When you look at the payroll graph, it's like 280,000 less payroll positions, and because of government policies relating to the national insurance and stuff, they've made it a lot more expensive to employ people, which just means less people are going to get employed. And then when you look at the jobs that are out there, it's all dog shit, like working in McDonald's and stuff. I mean, it's like we've had successive governments over the last 40 years that have basically trashed so many decent jobs. Okay, I'm not saying that being a Welsh coal miner is necessarily a good job, but it was a steady job. And if you look at what Thatcher did, destroying entire communities back in the 80s, and successive governments have just done the same thing. I mean, we've got a big chemical plant closing down because the energy costs are too high. They're decimating North Sea oil. I mean, it's just completely nuts. But okay, you can get a job for Deliveroo or Greggs if you can actually stomach to do it. But it's not. I mean, we've got, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
Right. Okay. I'll address this, Frankie. Don't worry. I'll sort it out, mate. I apologise. 66-year-old man has been arrested for racially or religiously aggravated public order offence after rats were released outside a mosque in Sheffield on Monday. South Yorkshire Police said a man stopped outside the mosque and released rats from the boot of his car, and he did. I watched the video. So he takes out humane traps, opens them, and lets the rats out. Well, you know what?
But hang on, how is that racial? Okay, if he
this is
full of pigs.
Yeah,
and he let all of his pigs run around outside a mosque. That might be racially aggravated, but how is? I mean, who even thinks of doing that? What kind of? I mean, what kind of country do we live in where a person has an idea that they're gonna release a load of rats in front of a mosque? I mean, what the fuck? I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's religious. What is it? Racially or religiously aggravated public order. But it's just, what the fuck? Who even does that? You don't need to give it a racial or religious element to it. It's just a dickhead doing something really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if he was genuinely releasing the rats, then he should take them to the country, should he not? Or then are you going to get farmers saying he's releasing rats on my property?
Well, yeah, they have cats and guns, but I mean, how has he got this? Is he a rat catcher and he just had a load of spare rats he didn't know what to do with? I mean, what the fuck? Seriously? So, oh yeah, I've set all these rat traps and I've caught a bunch of rats. But I mean, I thought rat traps were supposed to kill the rat.
Yeah,
so is he?
Yeah.
I've got so many questions, but there's like a million more important things. We've probably still got loads of slides, so let's keep going.
Right, it really bugs me when chumps who fled the Soviet Union, Cuba, China, Venezuela, or North Korea think they know more about socialism than the 28-year-old 10th year undergrad in general studies from Santa Fe with a verified Twitter account. Boom.
That kind of nails it.
But nails it.
Mic drop. Yeah, that's a mic drop.
Yeah,
and it's if you look at all of the stuff that's happening in Europe, the populations in Europe that are the most against all of this woke nonsense, are all of the former communist ones, because they can just see more communism creeping in by the back door, and they're like, no, we didn't. Hang on a second, you told us this was good. We didn't sign up for communism.
Right, moving on. Imran Mullah, a Home Office employee, has been convicted of accepting bribes for granting asylum applications. He was with the asylum team based in Manchester. Bangladeshi and Nurul Amin Beg, 23, was turned down by Mullah, but Mullah contacted him and reversed the decision for money.
Not just that, but he was also cold calling people.
Yeah, do you want to get asylum?
Cold calling people on just. I mean, but this just shows you what an utter shit show the government is. Mm-hmm. It's like they want more and more money, and they want more and more power.
Yep.
And they are useless. The whole lot of them, it's the Foreign Office, the Home Office. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And we're supposed to just go along with it and pay our taxes and like be good little bitches and bend over, I guess.
What the
it's just...
Right, sorry. Carry on.
No, it's fine. Next slide.
Everyone knows how annoying it is when you're out on a train and the signal keeps dropping out. So we're going to install ultra-fast cables along major rail lines to get rid of those dead spots, says Keir Starmer.
Okay. This is one big question. Just as a technical person, and I realised that the retard finder has had his thing because this post was shared by an MP who made a sarcastic comment that John has snipped out. But the reason that retard finder's first name has been crossed out and an arrow pointed is that retard finder retweeted the whole thing, but just based on what Keir Starmer was saying, how is installing ultra-fast cables along major rail lines going to get rid of dead spots on trains? Because the train, you don't, your mobile phone does not pick up its signal from ultra-fast cables along major rail lines. It picks them up from Wi-Fi routers. And the Wi-Fi router has to be on the train, because if the Wi-Fi routers are on the ground, then the train is moving really quickly and your phone jumps from router to router to router and it goes screwy. And so how is he going to get the internet signal from the ultra-fast cable onto the train? It's just one of these stupid dumbass posts that this idiot just... I can't believe the country is run by people that are so fucking stupid. Pardon my French, but seriously.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
And also what Retard Finder said about, because it was a really seriously retweeted. I mean, this one went viral. What about when you're on a train and you get assaulted by an immigrant? Kind of says it all, apart from my little rant about signal.
Right, here we go. Here's the David Paulides one that I was talking about earlier before we started. So David Paulides, that's the missing 411 guy. I don't know if you know him. He's an ex-cop in America. He's done a lot of research into people that go missing in national parks. And he never kind of expressed any kind of supernatural, what would you call it? He's never ascribed a supernatural explanation or opinion about it, but he started to recently. And so he said this is one in which a young man who's an athlete walked off a mountain, just walked off the mountain and fell down 120 feet and is in a coma in California, which is quite tragic. So he says, I've researched over 10,000 search and rescues of missing people, including over 1,000 cases of people hiking alone that seemingly walked off cliff edges. If you've followed me, you know I've never believed people hiking alone were that reckless. Something else had to have happened. Maybe this incident is the epiphany. Did an external force intervene in the victim's mind? What would have happened if he was hiking alone? He'd be dead, and rescuers would say it was another foolish mistake. There's much more to this than we believe, right? Which is fine on appearance. But when you look at it, when you look at what happened to the guy, because his dad was with him, he had altitude sickness. They had descended over 6,000 feet in less than 3 hours or something. They just fucking piled this mountain. Okay? So they were up at 14,000 feet. And he had altitude sickness, and he recognised he had started to get symptoms of altitude sickness because he told his dad he was seeing Kermit the Frog. Right? So he knew he had altitude sickness. And they started descending. And he seemed to get better at the 12,000 feet mark. It doesn't just go away. And then further on down the trail, he just walked off the mountain. It's fucking altitude sickness. And then you look, I mean, I don't know about altitude sickness other than the fact I've been up a few mountains, but I know it comes upon you and you have to deal with it by getting lower. But when you look into it, contrary to popular belief, Zane's status as an accomplished endurance athlete, a distance runner, and a triathlon actually increased his risk. Research specifically examining tolerance-trained athletes found that they had a 42% incidence of acute mountain sickness versus something like 17% for untrained individuals when rapidly ascending to 3,450 meters. It was fucking altitude sickness. And this
Why
guy's
does it
trying
sound like you're debunking a rabbit hole?
because this is a rabbit hole. This guy's trying to ascribe a supernatural occurrence to this when it's there as altitude sickness. That pisses me off because this guy's made a career out of this. He's wrote books. He's made videos about it. He's made documentaries. He's got like 4 documentaries. That's
He's
not
probably
right.
just trying to increase his.
No, but it's not right.
Monetary income from
Yeah,
it.
that's fine.
I'm not saying it's right.
That's fine. But you know what?
I'm not disagreeing with you that it's not right, but the world is fucking crazy at the moment.
If you're going
Seems
for
to be affecting everybody.
If you are going for the truth, then you need to have integrity. And you can't be like that. You can't be like that if you're trying to find out the truth. And to me, that's someone that's just jumped the shark. They're no longer. They're another Lou Elizondo. They're just trying to feather their own nest, you know. And it pisses me off, you know.
Well, no, that's fair enough. Moving on. How many slides we got left?
Quite a few. Right. Right. Okay. So the sun.
If anyone needs us to stop to take a toilet break, just let us know. Go on. From Russia with shove.
Yeah.
All right. So
they're blaming Putin for the migrants.
Mm-hmm. And also, it looks like Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's romance is over as well.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm just replying to Frankie because
no, it's fine.
You know how I don't give a fuck about our audience generally, right? But Frankie has just paid, and some cunt who was a moderator and it won't be one after this has put her on a timeout for comments that just didn't warrant it. So there's no reason for that, and he hasn't rescinded it. So I can't see any way of doing it. So I'm really sorry, and that pisses me off.
Right. Okay. Is that Putin's fault as well?
Yeah, probably.
You could blame Putin. I mean, this is the press trying to blame Putin for the illegal migrants.
And the thing is, he's not even in the fucking chat, which really pisses me off. You know? Sorry. Right, here we go.
That's fine. Right, next one. Democrat Congresswoman Brittany Peterson is under fire from voters after bringing her infant child to the hearing today. It was pointed out that Congress provides daycare services to all members of the House and has since 1987. Okay, so why is this? I mean,
why is she doing this? Why is she doing this? Is this making some kind of point or something? You know, why is this? Why does everybody need to bring their fucking kid to work?
Oh yeah, but fundamentally, I agree. Maybe the child wouldn't settle in daycare for some reason. Maybe it was the first time she'd ever brought it to daycare. I mean, this trying to pass judgment on this one incident based on this tiny ass little tweet that doesn't give us any context whatsoever. I mean, she could have had a good reason for it. I don't know. Maybe she didn't have a good reason for it. Maybe she's an idiot and didn't know that they had daycare. I don't know.
The bigger question, in my view, though, is where the fuck did that child get a comb over like that?
Yeah, okay, well, she's taking the kid to work and the kid has a supremely bad haircut. I don't know the point that she's trying to make.
Right, let's move on. Okay, this is harsh. This is what 15 abortions look like. Ooh, you've killed more black children than the average slave owner. Oh, booyah! That's harsh.
Yeah, that's. But there is this trend of women boasting about how many abortions they've had, and I don't know. It makes the. I mean, obviously, women have free choice to do with their bodies what they want, but if you're making choices like that, I find it makes me uncomfortable. Put it that way. Let's move on. We'll get ourselves into trouble again.
I shall move on. Right. Class 6 book shows Moscow as source of noise pollution for the ICSE science textbook. Muslims are asking for it to be withdrawn. I think it's fairly accurate. It is a source of noise pollution. You know what? If the call to prayer comes out at 5 o'clock in the morning, that's outrageous.
If I'm in Egypt on a diving holiday and I get woken up by the call to prayer at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm okay with it. It shit happens. I mean,
that's a Muslim country.
It's a Muslim. Exactly, it's a Muslim country. But if I was in Britain getting woken up by a call to prayer at 5 o'clock in the morning, I would object.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially seeing as they're trying to get rid of. It's like, do you hear church bells anymore?
No. If you live in France, you hear church bells all the time.
Well, yeah, same in Holland.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know. Just I'll leave that one where it is.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay. So this is what's her name? Alicia Lehman or whatever. I think she used to play for Arsenal women's team, and then now her team is Switzerland. Some Switzerland team, and they're 23rd in the world ranked. And they had a friendly with Lucerne under 15 boys team, and they beat them 7-1.
Right.
And I'm not a footballer, but this is why.
Can I just, given that it's 2025, can I just check one thing?
Yeah.
Were all of the members of the women's team actually?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Females.
Yeah, I believe so.
With the correct chromosomes.
Yeah. Yeah. So they got beat.
Right, okay.
They got beat 7-1 by 15-year-old boys, and this is why we don't fucking like. This is why we don't want men and women's sports.
Well,
across the board. Across the board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's and the thing is that women playing against other women in women's sports, that's fair. But it's the same. I mean, it's like we don't allow doping. So athletes aren't allowed to take drugs to improve their performance.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you think of the difference between a man and a woman playing sport, it's basically the same thing. Masses more testosterone and things that people take to perform and enhance their performance. It's all steroids and stuff.
Yeah.
Which mimic. Yeah. So absolutely. Let's move on because this is a subject that gets us into trouble.
Rachel Zegler reveals psychiatrist anxiety meds helped her deal with the Snow White backlash. Well, you know what, Rachel? If you hadn't been such a dick about it in the first place, it probably wouldn't have ever happened. You know, you've really only got yourself to blame, doll.
Yeah.
You know, really,
much.
That's it. End of story. I don't think there's anything else to be said about that one, Ed.
Yeah. No, it's a dog shit movie.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Craig Murray, who is a alleged journalist. If this article does not even know off your seat, I shall give up journalism forever. So he's going on about the RAF.
Oh, we're not. Yes. No, you're not ranting about the probe and the drone.
No,
again.
I'm not.
No, we've done
I'm
that.
not going to rant about it. What I'm going to say is, what I'm going to say is, his whole premise is fucking flawed. Because he hasn't researched it properly, so he is a shit journalist, and he should give it up. That's the problem.
Right, moving on.
He's a shit journalist because he hasn't researched the problem. And you know,
look, I'm not doing probe and drogue twice in one episode.
No, well, you brought it up earlier. But
No,
you know
you
what?
brought it up.
And the other thing is, it doesn't matter. Does it? The other premise is they are owned by some corporation and obviously leased to the RAF. Big deal. Who cares? You know, do you think the police own their cars now? No, they lease them. You know, the fire engine own their fire engines. No, they lease them. So what does it matter? What does it matter who owns them as long as your military forces are using them?
Because you don't have to pay rent on the fucking thing.
Because it's
That's the whole
cheaper to
point about
lease it.
leasing it.
The idea about leasing it is it's cheaper because you don't need to pay rent. You don't need to pay for maintenance or whatever. It's all part of the lease deal. You don't have to fucking supply all the people that you need to fix it because the contractor needs to do that. You know, you don't need to run a garage basically to fix it because
you know about economies of scale, and especially when it's something important like the military, you want to keep all of that shit in house so you can be sure that no dickhead is going to sabotage your gear that you've got no control
you think
over.
That, but Police Scotland.
Anyway, we've covered this. Can we move on?
No, we haven't covered this because we're now talking about something completely different. But Police Scotland lease all their cars, right? Now you think how big Police Scotland is? It's fucking huge, and yet
but a car is a very different thing to an aircraft.
It's not really. It's a method of transport. That's all it is. You know. I mean, let's face it. We don't fucking. Our F-35s don't get serviced by the RAF. They have to go to Norfolk in Virginia.
But you say it's cheaper. I bet you it's not cheaper if you looked at it.
Okay.
I bet it's not. It's like with the police. If you actually have one like Police Scotland, and they have one central depot where they buy all their cars. And they just deal with it all themselves, and they have a repair crew that they pay.
They used to do that.
I bet you all these leasing companies are absolutely fleecing the shit out of
Well, they probably are, but they used to do that, and the problem is you can't do it with one depot. You had to have a garage at every division or two, you know. Because in my day,
that's what we used to do.
Yeah, but the police used to own the cars, and we used to our garage. We had a garage at Irvine. We had a garage at Kilmarnock, we had a garage in Ayr, and they used to fix the cars for the local areas, yeah?
Yeah, and back in the day, if you look back when cars weren't quite so reliable, drivers weren't just drivers, they were driver mechanics, because the guy was expected to fix the bloody car when it broke down.
Yeah. Okay,
so actually, let's move on.
Let's move on. Norwegian tourist 21 is barred from entering USA after ICE guards find memes showing G.D. Vance with bald head on his phone. It's a good story, but it's not right. It's not accurate. It's not accurate because he actually got barred because he admitted being a drug user. That's why he got barred.
The very top of that image where it says Daily Mail.
Yeah, I know.
That's an automatic write-off. As soon as I see Daily Mail on anything, I just think, okay, what are they bullshitting me about this time?
Yeah, well, they are bullshitting you and people are picking this up, but that's what's happening. He admitted being a drug user. He didn't fucking get barred for that. Although it would probably be the icing on the cake. In 1970, this is a good one. Fesshole posted this, and I just put it in there. Mate.
I'll tell you what happened. The only reason that the Daily Mail ran with that story is because they could show that.
Yeah, exactly.
Bald head.
In 1973, my mother dressed me as a clown and abandoned me at a travelling circus in a neighbouring town. They called the police and returned me to her a short time later. She always said it was a joke, or that she didn't remember. I used her ashes as cat litter and binned them.
That's some seriously unresolved parental issues, and I feel really sorry for that person carrying around so much spite. Oh dear!
Oh, it's like classic. Right?
Where do you find this shit?
Oh, actually, I find shit everywhere, mate. Who can work out what's happening in Antarctica? Ice is decreasing, ice is increasing. Oh, look at all the fucking volcanoes. Yeah. Right. What's going on?
Yeah, but
go on.
Well, they clearly don't think that volcanoes impact climate change.
No.
You don't see them protesting when volcanoes go off and
Of course
emit
not.
more CO2 than humans have produced since the beginning of the industrial age in about a week. It's absurd, but again, this is another one of those subjects that we can't really say what we want because we'll get into trouble. Anyway,
Yeah, okay.
Move on.
Right, moving on. Big Mike, what's going on here? Is this a Zempic face or is it AI? I don't know. Someone says, what's going on with Big Mike? Is this real or is it AI? See, this is now the problem because AI is so good at making pictures that it's hard to tell when there's no hands in the show.
That looks fake to me.
It looks a bit AI.
One big thing about AI is that if you use one AI against the other,
yeah.
So you see an image on X, and you give it to another of the AIs like ChatGPT, and ask it to, because AI will tell you if it thinks an image is AI generated.
Yeah.
So you can actually use them against you.
But some of them are better than others.
That's true. Yeah. But that, to me, that looks AI.
It does. Hatchie says farting is about to be illegal. Right. So here we go. Engineer measures frequency in ohms using a multimeter cell to measure resistance. This is the Booger Spear. You know about this? Yeah? You've heard about this?
No idea.
Oh, come on. You're a rabbit hole guy. You should know about this. This is this thing they found in South America. And they think it's a UFO or they think it's a UAP.
Oh, this one. No, the Booger Spear. No, no, I know about this one.
Yeah. So the engineer there is measuring frequency in ohms using a multimeter set to measure resistance. He's measuring fuck all, mate. He's measuring nothing. He says it's producing a low frequency signal at 2.3 hertz. I don't know how he gets that out of a multimeter. And there's a video that goes with this, and the guy is not measuring anything. This is fucking theatre. And the other picture there with a AI-generated Lou Elizondo's trying to steal the sphere is fake police apparently turned up trying to steal it.
Can we have a new rule where you're only allowed to mention Lou Elizondo on a Thursday?
Yeah, okay, right. Moving on. How your hot sauce, Daily Fail again, how your hot sauce could trigger a heart attack or even kill you, and the type experts say never to touch. Now, this really pisses me off because they only posted an image and I can't find the type that we've never to touch. If you've got OCD.
Well, there was one.
If you've got, what is it you call it? Is it OCD or something? What would an unresolved question like this, what would the kind of syndrome be that
I don't know, but I have no idea. But I did see a video on Twitter yesterday. No, day before yesterday.
Oh, the guy in London with the
Chinese guy he's in an Indian curry house in London that claims to serve the hottest curry on the planet. And he nearly passed out. And then there's it cut to the end. And he's on the street with his shirt off, literally just collapsed out on the pavement. And the waiter from the Indian restaurant who serves the curry with a gas mask on is basically handing him a glass of mango lassi, like mango lassi can.
Well, why do you think the Indians all drink lassi? I mean, did you know that I think it was Philips? You know Philips, the corporation? They were wondering why they were selling so many twin tubs to India. Right? And they sent a guy out to investigate, and they were using the twin tubs to make lassi.
Right, moving on.
Right, moving on. I thought it was funny. A woman who injected her 8-year-old daughter with Botox for beauty pageants has lost custody of her child. The child didn't look surprised at all. It's a joke, mate. It's a joke. It's a joke. The child doesn't look surprised at all. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but you put BBC News down there, and I fully expect them to.
Right, moving on. Kneecap. And this looks genuine. Our legal team for the fight which begins in London on Wednesday. Pro bono? No, you two are shite.
That's a good response.
It's like cracking.
You can have your own you can have your own opinion about their politics, but whoever is running that account is really good at it.
Yeah, mango
And
croissant.
for the record, you two are shite. And
Yeah,
Bono
they
is a
are. They are.
charlatan
You're right.
bastard.
I hate Bono.
Oh, this one
Mango-
was hilarious. Mango croissants with mango filling. Hamza says, "Oh my god, I just woke up to 600 quote tweets by angry French people who want to guillotine me. I just wanted to say, I do not apologize, and I don't care what the French think." Oh,
I mean,
brilliant.
they're fucking meringues. I mean, who cares? For God's sake. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Right. Merch. Would you buy that? Would you buy that?
All I can say with that is Journey and John don't get any fucking funny ideas.
Oh, Johnny and John. XXL here, mate. XXL here. Although, I've lost £6 so far this week. Right, moving on.
What the-
Probably 1987 in my bedroom, thinking about my best mate's mum. No, I said, tell me about the West Bank.
What?
Oh, come on. How long's it going to take? Come on. How long's it going to take? Come on. You're going to get there now. No, he's not got there. Right, okay.
You have a really fucking strange sense of humour.
Oh, come on. Not going to fool me.
You
I know
really
I...
do.
Not going to fool me.
Thing.
I know I coyote painted that on. It does look like it, doesn't it?
Just a little bit.
Imagine if it was painted on. Right. My new boyfriend
That
says he
would be
wants our
briefly
first sexual
unfortunate.
experience to be a fairy tale and treat me like a real princess. So I'm looking for 7 dwarfs to join us this Saturday night. No weirdos, please. Right, okay, moving on. Right, there's one of yours. There's one of yours, Ed. What do you think? Why do you think that's funny? She does look like that, though, doesn't she?
Just a bit.
And then the one
Thing
next
is
door.
no, hang on, because you never see her in glasses. And as soon as she has to take PMQs because the Prime Minister is off swanning around, suddenly she's got some glasses on, which makes you think that she and Keir, or there was something, because I keep going back to Keir Starmer and his creepy black glasses that he started wearing after he won the election. Because when you look at him pre-election, no glasses.
Yeah.
Suddenly he becomes Prime Minister and he's wearing these really in-your-face black sort of kind of just glasses.
To make him look more intelligent.
Yeah, so she's obviously picked up the same thing, and it's just...
Yeah, but the question is...
Even more scary is that she's deputy leader, and if they get rid of Keir, we could end up having this crazy person running the country.
Yeah, okay, but apart from that, why the fuck did she feel the need to team it with 10 years ago's curtains?
I think I was thinking they were her mum's and she really liked them, and then she had them turned into a dress because her mum didn't want them anymore.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, time for a story. I drank my best friend's breast milk. A 19-year-old male was out on a hike with my friend, 20, female, who has a 1-year-old that she breastfeeds. When my blood sugar became dangerously low, I knew it was going to pass out because I'm prone to it. And we had no food on us to stabilise my levels because we didn't want to attract animals. You know, he's covering all the bases here. Plus, I haven't fainted in a while, so I wasn't worried about it. My friend essentially breastfed me for like a minute to keep me from passing out so as we could hike back to the car. I've got to say, fucking well played, sir. Well played indeed.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm sick.
What? Why? Okay, just apart from the really weird, creepy story, Why the? Well, since when do we share Reddit stuff with our poor audience?
Oh,
I mean, that place
when
is
it's
a
funny.
cesspit.
Oh, it's funny. Come on, Ed. It's not that bad. Right, moving on.
You,
Had a bad day. At least you're not the guy filling up a blow-up doll at a free air pump. Are you? Are you that guy, Ed? Are you this woman? This lady is calling the police because I asked her if she was Samuel L. Jackson's sister. Look at her. She's a fucking dead ringer for Samuel L. Jackson. Right, how long's it going to take you? How long is it going
yeah,
to take you?
that's no, I get it. I get it. Yeah,
how long is it going to take you to get this one? How long is it going to take you to get this one? How long? Come on. Come on. Come on, you'll get there. Come on, baby.
Fuck off.
It's a sin.
Yeah, no, I worked it out already.
Oh, well done.
Moving
He
on.
got there. He got. Well, no, I've only got one
I thought
slide
these were
left.
supposed to be funny.
Oh, they weren't bad. They weren't bad. I mean, it was 23:35 or 23:25. Right, I've got.
Surprisingly, we've actually got an audience.
Yeah, we've still got a good audience. Yeah. Right, hold on. Where are we? I've got a couple of things. I've got a couple of things I want to expose. No, not like that. If I can steady on you, pardon me, steady on you lot. Right, where's my?
I'm still trying to work out whether your bizarre sense of humor is just you or whether it's Scottish people. Most Scottish people I know have actually got a good sense of humor.
Oh,
yours is bordering on
nice.
Bonkers.
Right, Chinese hotel has had to curtail its Red Panda wake-up service. Okay. A hotel in China was ordered to halt its unique service where red pandas would wake up guests by climbing onto their beds. I think that's a lovely idea.
I have no slide. Where's the slide?
No, there's no slides. I'm just talking about these things. Okay.
Oh, we missed out on a red panda. Well done.
Oh, yeah, okay. Right. For fuck's sake. Are you gay? Right, sorry, did I say that out loud? Right, next. An African serval is on the loose in North Carolina. An exotic African serval is roaming free in North Carolina, giving locals unexpected wildlife encounters. Bears in a British wildlife park have escaped. 2 European brown bears escaped their enclosure at a British wildlife park and made straight for the food storage, where they feasted on snacks, including an entire week's supply of honey. That's fucking classic. That's a classic. Bears. You just can't beat them. I think they're good. Okay. A Connecticut man had to be rescued by firefighters after getting stuck in a chimney while attempting to retrieve his dog from a locked building. It just boggles belief. Where does that come from? What's next? The world's tallest domino, and there's no slides, I'm just talking about these things. World's tallest domino tower breaks records. Someone built a domino tower measuring over 33 feet tall, setting a new world record. That's a 33 feet tall domino tower, something to behold. Huh?
How long did it take to crash to the ground in its own footprint?
Yeah, that's a good question. A Long Island high school had attendees seeing double when 15 sets of twins walked across the stage to accept their diplomas. What would be the odds of that? 15 sets of twins in one graduation year. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, no, that is impressive.
Right. Anything else you want to come up with? Or is that you done?
I can't think of anything. I was actually just having a quick scroll on X to see if anything, because the last couple of weeks, as soon as we finished the show, you go back into the real world and it's like, oh, look, another 20 things have happened that we need to talk about tomorrow. But no, nothing that's, well, we kind of try and be funny at the end of the show, so all of the stuff that I spotted is just going to bring the mood down. So
don't bring the mood down now. Don't bring the mood down now, mate. Right, we're just about done. We've got one slide left. So, as always, Ed, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for joining us, guys.
And remember, Should you ever come across an alien, it may just be a baby stingray that looks like it's stuck in ravioli. As always, it's been great. For you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots.